Wide Open Outdoor Adventures with your host, Dave Altiera. We'll make you a better sportsman.
Subscribe to the Wide Open Sportsman YouTube channel today. Hello, I'm Dave Altiera with Wide Open Outdoor Adventures. On today's YouTube segment, I'm going to show you how I take this old feeder that's been wore out and empty for weeks and bring it back to life and set up a pop-up blind to hunt the Rio Grande turkey. It's spring turkey season and it is about to get good right now. Well guys, spring turkey season is here. It's one of my most favorite seasons that exist. You can call these big toms to you. You can work the group. You can actually use clucks and yelps and putts and purrs and even the gobble to get these big toms to interact with you. I'm heading to the Teal Ranch right now. I'm going to set up a pop-up blind. I've got some ideas of what I want to do, but I'm going to have to see how the area lays out. I know that this blind back there is more for deer hunting, so we're not going to use that, but a pop-up blind gives you the option to put that thing anywhere you want. There's a feeder. I know that it's been out of commission for some time, so I'm going to have to get the lay of the land, see what's there, and make something happen. Stay right with us on this YouTube post on Wide Open. Well guys, this is worth its weight in gold, the pop-up blind. Well, the oil field is alive and well here in South Texas. Let's get to the back. There's always work to do on these ranches. My good friend Tim Teal, he's out there plowing, making it look good. A lot of work on these ranches. All right, the first tip that I'm going to give you today deals with the fact that I'm about to get to the back area where I believe the turkey are. So as you're driving in, make a consistent whine with the motor of the Ranger and be alert. Look for birds. All right, I'm going to stop right here because this is the back pasture. Right behind me is the back pasture. As you can see, it's really overgrown. So I'm going to have to find me a spot where I can see turkey coming to me. I can set up the blind. I'm going to get that corn in that feeder. Sun's going to be down in about an hour and a half. So I don't want to disturb this area too much. I'm going to let that feeder go off for about 4 days. Then I'm going to check the game camera, see what's been coming. Then I'm going to hunt it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is survey the area. I want to figure out where does the sun come up and where does it go down. That's number one. I know that the sun's going to come up over these trees. The sun's going to come up over these trees right here, and that's where they roost. Thing is, look how overgrown this place is. It's like a thick jungle back here. So I've only got one little area right here to work, and I know that they're going to be in those trees behind me. They're going to roost right back in here. Those are the big trees. That's the river. So you want to study the area. So I'm going to set up my pop-up blind so these birds can come down this lane right here possibly, or down this road right here, and come to this feeder. Let's get it set up. Okay, I set up this game camera right here. I'm going to get this corn feeder working again. I'm going to set up the pop-up blind and I'm going to get the heck out of here because in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, These birds are going to move this way toward the roost. Now, I'm not going to hunt this area for about 3 days, but still, I don't want to be here any longer than I need to be. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to get out. All right, that's the game camera that I set up on this feeder. This feeder has not been going off. So I basically have about 2 hours before these birds start moving their way back to where they roost on the river. So I'm going to be as quiet as I can in here as I show you what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, once I get this camera working, I get this feeder working, and I get the blinds set up, I'm going to get out of here and let them do what they do. I'm going to be here 4 days later, and I'm going to hunt this son of a gun. Yeah. All right, these pesky raccoons can actually climb up the leg of this blind, and they can wiggle this metal until it gets loose. And they get up in here and they spin the mechanism and steal your corn and ruin the mechanism. So we're gonna cage them out. Okay, let me show you how to read this timer. Okay, basically what you can see is that it's 6:43 in the PM. That's correct. The first timer set off to go at 7 a.m. and it's going to go for 15 seconds. The next program is 5 in the afternoon, 15 seconds. The next one is 9 p.m. and it's going to go off for 1 second. Basically, it's not even on at that time. Program 4, it's at 8, but it's not going to go off. 5 at 9, it's not going to go off, and 6, 12 a.m., and it's not going to go off. So I'm going to leave everything like it is. It looks good. 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. 2 times a day, it's going to go off for 15 seconds. So let's box it up and cage those pesky raccoons out. Okay, it's important to note, this first panel is the door that helps me access the box. So I'm going to wire everything else super tight, but the door is going to be left so that I can use the clip so I can get in there, run tests, and do what I need to do. All right, here's the deal. I was about to run a test, but then I got to thinking about it. I don't really want to draw any animals into this area while I'm still here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the pop-up blind, nail in all the stakes, tie it down because the wind picks up across this big field behind me. I'm going to run a test right when I leave. Knowledge is power in the wide open outdoors. All right, here's the deal. It's time for a judgment call. We got to figure out where we're going to put the pop-up blind up. Over here looks good. All right, what I like about this area here is that, like I said at first, they roost in those trees back there. And so they're going to probably come down this road. It's overgrown, but they can still make it. There's 2 game trails right here too. And there's another road this way. They can come down. They're not going to cut across this really brushy material. They're going to take the path of least resistance, just like you and me. So I'm going to figure out where Henrietta's going to go, our decoy, our hen decoy. And then from there, that will help me identify where I want to set up the pop-up blind. But at this point in the game, I think Henrietta, only place she could be is right out here in this plowed dirt. So why, you say, in the plowed dirt? Well, here's the deal. I wouldn't put this hen decoy out in the middle of a big old grassy, overgrown field. I want to put it where they can see it from a good distance away. See how that wind makes her move around a little bit? So I like it right here. So that's the first thing you do. Find out where the decoy is going to be. And find out where the sun goes down. Find out where they can come to the area, what routes do they have, and then set up the pop-up blind. That comes right now. All right, super important is where's the door and where's the main shooting windows. So the door's here, this is the main shooting window. So the whole thing needs to rotate a little more to make sure that my kill zone is right there. Get inside, baby. See what you're gonna see. Pretend like you're drawing the bow. Is this right? And get this Velcro adjusted. Get this Velcro just right. It's easy to do at this stage. Just make sure it's ready for the hunt. All right, my pop-up blind is secure, my area is good. We're gonna run the feeder off and we're gonna get the heck out of here and let this place just chill. Another super important thing, close all the windows, make it tight, and then do final trimming before you zip it up. Because snakes and other animals like to get inside these blinds, and you don't want to come in the dark and have a little friend waiting for you. Okay, now it's time to arm this camera, run a test on that feeder, and come back in 4 days. I've already got this thing set up, so what you do is you just basically remove the cover, you push the first button. It's actually on still, so I'm gonna just cycle through till I could do a test. Okay, you see that? Right there's a test, and it wants me to walk. So as I walk, the light comes on. It senses movement. So I'm walking, it's sensing movement. And I've trained it that that's where we want it to activate. Now I'm gonna come over to the commands, and I'm gonna drop down again, and basically I'm gonna do some changes to my settings here. I'm gonna basically go on to a 15-second delay. That's what I really like to have on my cameras, is a 15-second delay. So as I move through these screens, I've got it on a 15-second delay. So every 15 seconds when they're movement, they're gonna take pictures. I've got a huge battery backup on this camera here, so it hardly ever run out. Take 4,000 or 5,000 pictures. So now I'm going to the arming mode. You see that? Now it's arming. And what it's doing now is it's going to do a countdown. Let me get a better, clear picture here. It's going to do a countdown, and then I'm going to wait that 30 seconds, so I'm almost getting there. And once I get down past the 30 seconds, then it's going to start taking pictures every 15 seconds. So I want to wait till this little process occurs and make sure it looks right. I want to make sure it's taking pictures. So watch this. Right now, it's going to switch and take an image. It just took a picture. Now it's counting down again. So it's going to count down another 15 seconds. And once it does that, it's going to take another picture. And once it does that, it should say image right now. Perfect. All right, so it's going to keep doing that till it runs out of memory card or battery. And I am ready to rock and roll. So since I have this big backpack on this game camera, it would literally last a year or maybe even 2 years before it runs out of batteries. So memory cards go in this slot at the bottom, and you want to format them with the camera itself. So the camera now senses movement. It's going to take a picture every 15 seconds. And you want to make sure the time is set correctly in this camera so you can tell when the animals are coming to the feeder. All right, speaking of the feeder, let's run our test. All right, I love it. I have Henrietta right here. This is my best turkey decoy. She's awesome. Little bit of wind, and she moves like she's alive. But at the end of the day, don't ever leave a decoy in the field, because turkey will come up to it when you're not there and realize it's not real. So always pull the decoy from the field when you're doing your setup. 3-second test. Let's head for the hills. hope you learned a few things on today's Wide Open YouTube post. We showed you how to get a feeder back to life. We showed you how to set up a pop-up blind. We showed you how to position the blind according to where the sun is and where the alleyways are. Knowledge is power, like I always say in the wide open outdoors. I love it out on these ranches. I moved to Tilden, Texas, so I could be 8 miles from where I'm at right now. I'll see you next time on Wide Open. Special thanks to our amazing sponsors. We couldn't do what we do without them. Just get out there. Visit WideOpenSportsman.com every day for your daily fix of adrenaline. You know, it's always wide open.